Hey, this is David again, and today we're going to talk about ammunition malfunctions. And we've alluded to some of this on some of the other videos, but today I want to talk specifically about the three main types of ammunition malfunctions. Alright? Now, modern ammunition made at good, reliable factories, you aren't going to have these that often, okay? If you reload and you're not careful, you don't have good attention to detail, you'll see these more often. But ammunition malfunctions can happen even in the best quality ammunition. Just mistakes happen, right? So you need to know how to deal with them. And of the three, this is what they are. You've got a misfire, you've got a hangfire, and you've got a squibload. Okay? A misfire is probably the most common, and it may not have been caused at the factory. You might have done this. You might have done something to the gun that causes the round not to fire, because that's what a misfire is. It's when you have a round in the chamber and you bring it up and you pull the trigger and nothing happens. The gun does not fire. Okay? This could happen because somebody didn't put a primer in, somebody put in a bad primer, somebody didn't put any gunpowder in. There's all sorts of things what could happen at the factory to cause this. But generally, in my experience, what causes misfires is somebody cleaning their gun with the wrong stuff. You know, WD-40 is known to it's a penetrant, and it'll penetrate in past the primer, get inside the explosive compound in the primer and deactivate it, make it not work, right? If you clean your gun with too much oil, especially the wrong kind of oil, the wrong kind of lubricants, you can disable your rounds. And that's one reason why we want to get up to the range on a frequent basis and fire out our old rounds and keep exchanging to keep our stuff fresh. Okay, the way you deal with a misfire is pretty simple. Your gun's loaded, you bring it up, you shoot, bang, nothing happens. If it's a misfire, just tap, rack, bang, immediate action. Get back into the fight or the contest or whatever you're shooting for. Right? Just put a fresh round in and shoot. Okay. That leads us to our next malfunction, which is a hangfire, right? And this is a lot more dangerous. Maybe you were reloading, and when you put your rounds in your tumbler to clean them up, you got a little piece of corn cob or walnut or whatever you clean your rounds with stuck in the primer hole. And so when that primer explodes, it sends that flame through the round. It gets stuck in that primer hole and has to burn its way past the medium, causing a delay. Because that's what a hangfire is. A hangfire is a noticeable delay from the time that you fire to the time that the gun goes off. If you've ever watched some History Channel shows on muzzleloaders, or back in the day with the mountain men, or you've shot a muzzleloader, especially a flintlock, they get it up there, they pull the trigger, boof, and you got the flame and the smoke, and then it goes down the barrel, and then all of a sudden you go whoom, and the gun goes off. All right, that's a delay. Okay, now hangfire, you don't want to bang, you pull the trigger, nothing happens. If you go ahead and do immediate action, tap, rack, bang, and you've got that little round floating through the air, lands down by your pinky toe, and then it goes off with that noticeable delay, and it's next to your pinky toe, that might scare you, right? That might be a bad day. And so that's the problem, because you never know when you're out on the range whether your malfunction is a hangfire or a misfire, because at the onset they're exactly the same. You pull the trigger on a loaded chamber and nothing happened, right? So if you're at a gun range, if you're at a life-threatening thing, because we have to balance our response to our threat, it's not a time-sensitive issue, right? If it's just a contest, so what? You pull the trigger, nothing happens. We're going to treat a misfire and a hangfire like they're hangfires, right? Because if you treat a misfire like a hangfire, it's no big deal. But if you treat a hangfire like a misfire, and you've got this unsupported round, going through the air, and then it goes off, we don't know what it will do, okay? So we want to treat them both as a hangfire. And the way you treat a hangfire administratively on a range is, you've got the gun up, you pull the trigger, click, no bang. You just wait about 15 seconds with the gun pointed down range. After about 15 seconds, if it doesn't go off, you can think of it as a misfire. Go ahead and eject that round out, and keep going. Now, on a two-way range, somebody's trying to kill you, what's worse? Unsupported round floating off through the air to go off? You know, it doesn't have a barrel, so it's not going to shoot out. It's going to pop, right? You know, if it's on you, it'll burn you, whatever, but it's not going to shoot and penetrate 9,000, you know, square feet of sheetrock or whatever, right? If somebody shooting at you is a lot bigger threat. So if you're fighting for your life in a self-defense situation, and you pull the trigger, nothing happens, go straight into that immediate action, tap, rack, assess, you know, if you need to, shoot again. And if it's a hang fire, it's off on the ground, it goes off, you know, it's less of a threat to you than the bullets coming your way, right? But on a range, we got time, so we want to keep the gun pointed down range. The third type of malfunction is a squib load. This has happened to me quite a bit. When I got out of the service, got a check, I sold some leave back, had some annual leave I took, and so basically I leave the service with about 3 months worth of pay. Well, 2 months worth of pay and a month off. All I did is I went and I bought me a bunch of pistols, and I bought me a progressive reloader, which you shouldn't buy a progressive reloader first off. But I bought me a progressive reloader, and at night I sat there with a cold beer and a slice of pizza, and in between bites and chugs, I'd pump the press on that progressive reloader, which is stupid, right? And I had the chute go down into a 5-gallon bucket, and instead of weighing my rounds every 10 rounds or so, I did everything completely, totally wrong. And in the course of that 30 days, I blew up two revolvers because I would double load, you know, 2 charges of powder in 1 round. The next round would have no powder, and they all got mixed up in the bucket. So I'm sitting there with my pistol, reading my Ed McGivern Fast and Fancy handgun shooting and Elmer Keith and all that, trying to, you know, shoot shit out of the air. Excuse my language there. And you know, 1 round would have a big fireball and poof, you know, and the next one would be click, you know, because it was a primer, no powder. And what happens is if you don't have enough pressure to push that round through the barrel, because you've got friction in there because of the lands and grooves, you know, forcing the round to spin. And you don't have enough pressure because you don't have enough gunpowder, or the gunpowder is you know, some of it's clumped up and inactive because of your WD-40 whatever, and it doesn't get enough power to go all the way out the barrel. What's it do? It gets stuck in the barrel. Well, that's all well and good if, you know, you don't have a live round behind it. Because what happens if you pull the trigger, you get a squib load, and the round goes halfway down the barrel and stops, and then you've got one of those magnum rounds behind it, pull the trigger, it's shooting down the barrel, boof, and hits that blocked up barrel. What do you have? Well, you're holding a stick of dynamite's what you got, and you blow your gun up. So you want to be real careful. And the way you can tell a squib load is because it's not like a full powered round. You know, and I can't really describe it to you because it depends on the gun, it depends on the round, it depends on what the malfunction is. But if you're shooting bang, 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 whiz, bang, bang, pop, you know, bang, bang, and a whistle, or recoil, 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 half recoil, big fireball, no fireball, right? You know what you're shooting, and you're firing, and everything's normal, and then you have one that's not normal. Guess what? Something happened. It's not right. So what you need to do for a squib load is clear the gun. Take the magazines out, you know, eject the round out of the chamber, take your cleaning rod, push through that barrel, right? And if the rod goes all the way through the barrel from bore to chamber, then obviously there's no obstruction. But if you have a round stuck halfway down the barrel, that cleaning rod's only going to go halfway, right? And the way that you deal with that is, if you feel confident and you're willing to risk your gun, you know, you disassemble the gun, you put your cleaning rod in there, and you bang the round out. If you don't feel comfortable with that, you take it to a gunsmith. What are they going to do? They're going to put it in a vise, put a cleaning rod in there, and bang the round out, right? But whatever you do, if you're firing your gun, and you have a difference in recoil, a difference in sound, something is different with one round than it is the rounds previous, you need to stop, make sure your barrel is clear before you keep firing, okay? What do you do on a two-way gun range? Well, hell, I guess you got to figure it out, right? Are you going to risk shooting again, you know, and possibly blowing up your gun and losing an eye, losing a hand? You know, are you going to get behind cover, clear the gun, or are you going to go for your Texas reload, go for your second or third or 15th gun, you know, depending on, you know, how tactical you are. You know, I don't know. You have to solve that one for yourself. But I'm just telling you what a squib load is and what it can do. So you've got misfires where nothing happens. You've got a hangfire where something happens with a delay. And then you've got a squib load which doesn't have enough power to leave the barrel. So that's the three main types of having a bad day. That's the three main types of handgun malfunctions. And until next time, you can catch us online at www.tngun.com. Thanks.